That beat just dropped.
I'm a classy man. You can be mean when you look this clean. I'm a classy man. Calling on me like a young OG. I'm a classic man. Your knees getting met by the pre-elegant old-fashioned man. Yeah, baby, I'm a classic man.
University of Man.
University of Man. What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to University of Man, where you got two brothers talking about manhood from a Christian perspective. We got my man, my guy from LA, looking like he's almost in high school again with those muscles and everything. Mr. Ivory L. Lewis. What's up, big dog?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and we've got Mr. Fred. I'm about to have a birthday. Abernathy!
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, man. Listen. Hey, we ain't gonna dwell on this too long, but the start of the NFL season just happened. Your boy, I stayed up late because of that lightning delay, bro. And it was a good game.
You know, I was at Patrick's practice. And I heard that somebody got spat on. Is that a good way to put it? Who spits on the quarterback of the other team? I'm just throwing it out there. What happened?
Hey,
was it even before the game started?
It was before the game started, but you had to look at the video. Actually, Dak antagonized them, and he spat first before he got from behind his lineman. But then the dude, he made a stupid mistake, and it looked like he was trying to spit on the ground, but he ended up spitting on Dak, and Dak baited him. He took the bait, got him out of there, and it worked in Dak's favor for the first half because they was driving, bro. Hey, but CeeDee Lamb, if I had to give a donkey award, he would get the donkey award of the night. So I mean, I'm not a Dak fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but Dak was throwing darts, putting it right in his hand. He was bloop,
like that.
Bloop. Second half, they could have won the game. Like, I was like, you mean to tell me the Cowgirls might actually beat the Eagles, the defending champions? Nope, didn't happen. CeeDee Lamb, donkey of the day.
That's crazy. he throwing out donkeys of the day. Come on.
Hey, listen, it's all good though. But hey, man, check it out.
What's up?
Last time we talked about submission.
That's true.
And
sub to the mission. That's right.
Sub to the mission, brother. But I really want us to talk about when you're in a relationship and the dynamics of the relationship changes.
Okay.
Like, you're not what we say, you know how the traditional relationship, the traditional marriage looks. How, you know, wife's at home, you're at home, everything is traditional. Maybe people think traditional way is the man is the breadwinner. He makes all the money. He brings it all home. The woman is, taking care of the home. Ooh. But what happens when your relationship, it doesn't look traditional? How do we deal with that? Or your situation dictates that your relationship can't be traditional. Life is happening and it can't be traditional. How are brothers supposed to handle that, bro? When the Bible says you're supposed to be the head and not the tail. You're supposed to protect. You're supposed to provide. You're supposed to. What if your girl make more than you? What if she ain't there to be in the kitchen? What are you supposed to? What are we supposed to do, bro? What are we supposed to do? Let me know.
So this is a great question. I think it's a kingdom question that a lot of individuals have been put on the spot for. Because if you truly look at society and the way that, and I'm just going to throw it out there, man has been placed, specifically African Americans, a couple other places, like systemically, African American men have been put in a very sketchy place back in the 60s, where a woman had to either pick her man or pick government support. And even to the point to where her oldest child, once he became 18, had to get out of the house.
Bye bye.
Um, and that damaged the fabrics of, I believe, what society has placed on men. Um, when you're trying to make it, when you're trying to do things the right way, when you're trying to buy houses in the economic state where BlackRock can buy 500 track homes for 300,000, and then purchase 3 homes with 3 different models for 700,000. By the way, those were purchased by their other shell companies, and now give you 3 times the rental rate based off of Zillow, saying that now all these homes are 700,000 versus 300,000. Um, you get put in a predicament where you have to have 2 incomes, or at least an income and government assistance. So there has been multiple things, including empowerment for women and feminisms and things like that, where, for lack of better words, the placement of the community socially has made man and woman skewed, where the woman has become the man and the man has become, for all intents and purposes, the woman in biblical senses,
So you wait. So you're saying
or
women?
having feminine traits and male traits
So
in multiple places.
Is it a feminine trait to not make as much, not
No,
be this?
I'm talking about biblically. Strictly in a biblical sense, having what would be considered feminine and or male traits, where women oftentimes pick
Roles,
up more.
feminine male roles, the
Okay,
traditional
thank
roles.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. There it is.
I
Rose.
okay, because the trait thing is like, wait a minute, I'm feminine because I can't make six
Well, okay,
figures.
all right, all right, all right. So I apologize. Hey, words mean a lot. Wordsmith here.
Absolutely, and they're triggering.
Rose. There we go. Rose.
Roles.
So
Yep.
with that, um, it's definitions. Can your wife, can your girlfriend, can the husband still function as the head of the household when and or if they're not the quote unquote breadwinners? And there's been some phenomenal things on social media where women said, yes, he is still the head. I may make more money than him, whatever the case is, but we still have that godly situation. So if you look at society and you look at how certain things are put, that it would be tough to have what you would consider a godly situation where the man's the head of the household, the wife is the body and the neck that forces that man to look at different things, because the woman's working just as hard as the man, and oftentimes have to take care of the children while the man's
So
sitting at home trying to figure out a vision from God for their family.
let's talk about that, because
Go ahead.
when I hear that, what it leads me to kind of grasp is, as a man, I can't be the quote unquote leader of my house, of my family, if my wife is making more money than me.
I didn't say that. I think that God has specifically created a dynamic where he gives the vision, so to speak, of the house to the husband.
So
And sometimes the vision has to include not only not necessarily being quote unquote the breadwinner, but understanding that this is a dynamic that may change, flip flop from time to time in people's careers, where the wife has more of an opportunity to make this house go faster. And I saw a movie called Roses, and I
okay,
encourage everybody to go out and see that. It's a great movie. It talks about some of this. As a matter of fact, they flip flop. I don't want to give it up too much, but they flip flop roles where he was an amazing architect. He did some great stuff. Some things happened, and she was just one of those people that loved to cook. And she became an amazing chef and started opening up stuff all across California and some other things. And the roles flip flop, and they had stress among stress based off of that. Um, Great movie. I think that everybody should see it. And I think it's 2025, 2026 dynamics where a man and or a woman have to make very tough, role decisions on who's going to take care of the kids, who's going to take care of this, who's going to do that, and then um, who has the strength in that role. Maybe I'm not as good as you as taking care of the kids with their nutritions because I might just sit them down and put them in front of a bowl of cereal on Saturday morning type stuff like I used to do when I was a kid, right?
And look at you now.
Obviously, I wouldn't do that, but I'm just
But look
saying,
at you now. It worked.
just in well, listen, a bowl of cereal back in the '80s versus a bowl of cereal in 2025, two different things.
Definitely.
Let's just throw it out there. This is a science experiment right now. Oh
Yes.
my God, they're trying to get everybody connected and hooked on so much stuff. Um, yeah,
So
go ahead.
let me say, so let's preface this with, especially in the African American community. Nope. In America right now, period. African American women are the most educated people on the planet. Right? They got more degrees, more master degrees, more PhDs than anybody else. So the opportunity for growth, the opportunity for employment, the opportunity for income is greater right now, it would seem. Um, so as a man who wants to be married to a black woman and she has all the skill sets, all of the opportunity, all of the access to the bag, as we say. She's got all the access to the bag. How can I be the promoter? Like, let me cheer her on, let me root her on. Hey, chase your dreams. How can I be the promoter of that woman and have the vision for our family and want this vision to be in such a way, but I'm not the one who's able to necessarily finance the vision. And now I almost got to feel like I got to give you this vision and sell you on it so bad to make you believe in it that you put your money. And I get it, when we're married, it's supposed to be our, but let's be realistic in 2025. She the one went to school. She the one sacrificed and had these student loans or got these scholarships and all this. And she wrote the book. She did the podcast. She got the job. This is her money, right? How do brothers out there have the conversations, one, and have the buy-in from a woman who is dominating income wise
So
and follow that
let's
vision?
set the record straight for black women for a second. I just googled this, did some AI stuff. Black women do not make more than black men. As a matter
No,
of
they
fact,
don't.
it's been considered a double gap, where the gaps for black women is just insane. They do so much more work than everybody else, and they still don't get what their counterparts, Caucasian women, whatever the case is, but our women get paid so much less for so much more work that it's insane. And as a matter of fact,
Absolutely.
they have way more credibility than majority of the people on whatever position they're at, and they still get the wage gap. So let's
Absolutely.
throw that out there.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and give them the kudos for doing what they do, how they're doing it. We don't want to bash a woman
Oh yeah, we're
for
not.
doing what she's doing. I want to make sure that's out there. That's the Department of Labor. That's a statistic. Black men make on average on a weekly basis about 1,053, and black women make 942, even with more education.
Education.
All right.
Absolutely.
So getting back to
Absolutely.
what you just talked about, there is a certain dynamic where in some places, sometimes the woman has caught up, has made more money than that man. And can a man feel secure and confident in himself when that situation happens? Yes, you
Absolutely.
have to feel secure and confident in yourself no matter what situation you're in, because if you just bring money to the table, are you truly godly? It's a whole lot more that you bring to the table as a man and or a woman of God. And if you truly felt that way, that it's just her money, then when it's your money, it's just your money, and you're still not talking about what God is trying to do. So you have to submission, mission. Um, roles may change financially, but the mission is still the same. Woo.
Man, that's a mic drop, brother. And I definitely concur. Listen,
Okay.
when that's what I wanted to get to. Brothers, no matter what your financial situation is, you are still a man. like, and sometimes I think as men, we let what our economic status, our job, defined who we are. And
Mm.
I find myself, when I meet another brother, one of the first questions I ask is, "What do you do for a living?" And I mean, just think about it. When we're out, we're networking, and you meet other guys. You always want to know, what do you do for a living? Partly, I want to know because I want to know if I can insure whatever it is that you do. I want to know, can I how can our businesses intertwine? But a lot of us are wrapped up. Our identity is wrapped up in what we actually do for a living, and not what our ministry is, that and our purpose that God has for us. Because let's be realistic, we've both worked some jobs that weren't our purpose in life. It was a means to an end. It wasn't our purpose in life. But even if your wife is making more than you because of the education, and the reason why I put the education, because let's put it out there. We know women, there are more women, free women, than there are free black men. Because if you've been incarcerated, if you've had some things happen where you weren't able to go to college, or you didn't go to college, she may have more access. And when we talk about that, yes, black men are still making more than black women when it comes to the
That's
same.
even worse.
That makes it worse. Like, he didn't even see the inside of a college classroom, and he still can make more. But I often see that we see some women who have those higher positions saying, "Man, I don't want to have to settle for a man who doesn't make X, Y, and Z." And I think they miss out on some great men and great leaders and great guys who will take care of them, not just financially, but when God talks about protection, it's not just financially. Physically, yes, one, because if somebody come in the house, who you won't get up to go fight. Let's just be honest. But emotionally, spiritually, mentally, are you providing for that woman? Are you pushing her to have less stress? And I'm gonna just use my fiance for it. She's had some stressful positions, and one of the things that I do well for what I make, but and we don't even talk about it, but I definitely know she make more money than me, which is okay. I'm absolute. Hey, go for what you know. Listen, because I'm not going back to school. I'm not going to get no master's degree. And I work the type of job and the career where my income is limitless. It's based on my efforts. So I could get to where she is if I want to work all the time, and I can get to where. That's not my goal right there. But my number one thing is making sure that I protect her mental and her spiritual life, because with the pressures of her job, with the pressures of the kids and all that, I'm always like, look, you got to take time for you. Like, what can I do to take the pressure off of you? How can I make life easier for you? And as a man, I never feel less than. And yep, I still, I pay for our meals. Ooh, I never feel less than. She never makes me feel that way. And it's amazing to me the amount of things that she'll come to me for and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Well, I ain't paying for it." In my mind, I ain't paying for it. But the respect level of what I bring to the table, as if we want to call it, is more than just money. Now, don't get me wrong. I foot the bill for a lot of the things that we do as a couple, because that's just innate in me. My mom, my dad, You don't let a woman do more for you than you can do for them. And that's not just financially. That's the whole package. I'm gonna be there on every facet.
I,
So go
I
ahead.
want to flip it for a second. We were both raised by very strong, intelligent African American women
Hmm.
that love the Lord. And my question is, have you been more programmed to know what a woman needs and or wants versus what your standards are for a woman that comes into your life? And it's a two-part question because I really think that, you know, this was a question posed on another platform. Like, we know what a woman wants and needs because those standards are already set. But what's the standard for a man for a woman?
So when you ask me what was I taught growing up,
Yeah, yeah.
what
I
a
mean, were you
woman.
taught more of what to do to be the man or the knight in shining armor for a woman? And were you also taught by that woman what to look for in the woman that you get?
So I think it was taught subconsciously,
Okay.
like not intentionally. And I think a lot of us have to be very um cautious about this. And I tell single mothers with sons this all the time. Like, you can't treat your son, your single son, like he's your man. And I remember a lot of people telling me, man, you the man of the house, so you gotta take care of your mama and you. But what I learned from that was the deficiencies that my mother had raising me by herself. So when I seen those deficiencies, I seen where she was the breadwinner, but I seen where I could make up those deficiencies. Like, we lived on the second floor. There's no way my mother is about to take the garbage out. Like, no, I'm gonna do that. I got it. I'll take care of it. Nope, I don't want you doing this. I don't want you carrying groceries up the stairs. I don't want you washing the car. No, I'm gonna do all of those things that I learned that from other men that men were supposed to do. But more importantly for me, I didn't want my mother doing that. So now when I look at my fiance, I'm like, I don't want you putting gas in the car and I'm in the car with you. Like, I don't even want you driving. Like, not that she can't drive. I'm not saying that women can't drive. No, I just feel like when you go to work, you have to drive. She drives 45 minutes to an hour to work and back home. So if we together, you shouldn't have to drive. Like, the only time I'm really letting her drive is like if I'm dog exhausted, or sometimes she gets motion sickness in the car when she's not driving. So, okay, if you don't feel well. But 90% of the time when we're in the car, I'm driving. Whether it's her car, my car, rent a car, I'm driving, not because of anything other than I want to give her that break. And I want to be the one that said, now, if something happened, I was the one that was responsible for it. I want to take the responsibility for, did we get there on time? Were we late? If we were late, it was my responsibility. I was the one driving. If an accident occurred, was I the one paying attention or not? I want to have I want to have that responsibility, because if something bad happens, I don't want her to feel like it was her fault. Nope.
Mm.
As the man, I'm going to take that responsibility. Yes, I did learn that from being with my mother, but I also, it wasn't, she didn't teach me that intentionally. I picked that up from the deficiencies that I seen her having to go through by herself.
I got a third part to that question.
Hmm.
Um, we all agree that having dual parents in the household is important. It's probably better than having a single parent. You've seen on television in different places, maybe in your own life, where a parent that had a bad breakup from the father sees traits in the son of that relationship, and
You look just like yo.
you tend to put things on them that wasn't necessary for a child.
Absolutely.
Um, how can we break that? And also, how can we get back to making two parents in a household cool? And I go back to the stuff in the '60s, etc. But I really think that marriage is dope. I think that people in a position where they can be working together for a common goal. And I go back to the submission. Sometimes you got to sub in. And the submission means that if I can make more money than you, I'm going to sub in. Put me in, coach. I got it.
Yep.
We're really still going to hit the mission, but getting back to that broken homes, treating children unjustly based off of a bad breakup.
So listen, you you talking about somebody whose parents were together and then got divorced, and somebody who's been married and got divorced and have seen both sides of the coin. So when one thing I definitely give kudos to my mom for is she never talked bad about my dad. Even when I realized that, man, he's not doing what he needs to be doing, she always said, that's your dad and you have to respect him. And it helped me later on in life forgive him for being human. He made human choices, human mistakes, and forgive him. And now we have a dope relationship. That's my guy. But when I see, and Ricky Smiley just did a thing, I think whoever Brittany Reiner is,
Oh,
and Brittany Reiner, you know who that is?
hmm
And I guess this is her baby daddy, came to pick up their son, and the son was crying, and she was like, I'm gonna film this because every time you come to every this has happened 3 times in a row. Every time you come to get him, he cries because woo. And she had all this antagonistic stuff going back and forth because the baby was crying. And she said, what was said to me was like, he's got $11,000 in his account, and your girl got 170. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's let's just take a break. The baby has $11,000 in his account right now, and the kid didn't look like he was more than 2 years old. Some people at 18 don't have $11,000 in their account from their dad. So even if the relationship doesn't work, that whole statement of co-parenting can. But having two parents in the home can be great if both parents are playing a valid godly role.
Mr.
But
Abernathy, I apologize. When you brought up Brittany Ryan in this situation, she's lost credibility based off of a book that you wrote about her um, escapades with high net worth individuals that were athletes, and she has a nickname. And I won't repeat the nickname, but it rhymes with lead and super lead. So
oh, that's her. Okay, I didn't.
when you're talking about this, and listen, everybody has a past, everybody has history, but I want to look at the fruits of your labor. I want to look at those things, and I don't know. Maybe you have a checkered past, but when you put it out for the world to see in a book to actually make money off of it, I kind of have to leave whatever you put in social media and other places on the side. I just had to look her name up because I was like, I think, and yeah, it was. So, um, although it's a
Okay.
great and compelling, you know, statement and link, whatever, I just
And I just happened to see it. I didn't even know who she was, but once you
now you
said
do,
that, now it put the two and two together. I get it.
yeah,
But what I mean is there not she's not the only one. That's what we call a baby mama. And people like, and I know that that word is triggering. So people are like, man, somebody said that to me, like, man, I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. That was my former wife. She is the mother of my children. I would never disrespect her and call her a baby mama. Cause no, that's the way we parent our girls. No, she would never be a baby mama. Nope. She's my former wife. But we may not see eye to eye on everything else. But when it comes to our kids,
great,
no, that's
great,
she's not a. But somebody who is really antagonistic, even if the guy is in the home and trying to be in the home and
sure,
trying to be the dad, I've seen that where, hey, the man is there, daddy is there, but mom is so protective over this boy. Don't talk to my son like that. Don't what? But the crazy thing to me is when I see women like that, and I've said, don't make your son into the type of man that you don't even want. You're raising him to be the type of man that you don't even want right now. He doesn't know how to make any decisions on his own. Anything that goes wrong, he's dependent on you. He can't fill out an application without you saying, "No, this is what you got to do." No. And so how is he supposed to lead? Now, when we talk about the family dynamic, if and my thing is, brothers, before you lay down with a female and have a child, and understand, once you give her your seed, it's a gift. You gave it to her, whether you
How about
planned
you
on it.
wait until marriage? That's what I'm on that right now.
Right. But I'm saying,
Gotta
if
put
you
it all together for a reason. How about
if
you wait till marriage? Yeah,
right,
yeah.
if you wait to marriage, it's an easier thing. But if you
Easy.
don't and you give it to her, once you give her the gift, she can do with it what she wants because it was her. You gave it to her. Now, yep, you don't have no decision making power or nothing. So if this child comes into the world, how do you get to parent this child? And women have to understand, you cannot teach a boy to be a man. You cannot teach somebody to be something that you have never been. And that's my that's my opinion. I'm standing on it. I'm living and dying with it. You can teach me to be a great person. You can teach me how to manage money. You can teach me a lot of things. You can teach me what a woman wants from a man, but you cannot teach me how to be a man.
So we're gonna end on this, and I think that what you said is all true. But I was raised by an amazing woman that showed me through the community
Yes.
amazing men.
Yes.
And she spoke through them to me, and she was so meticulous about who she put in my life. The coaches and the individuals that really poured into me. And she had conversations behind my back about what was going on in my life so that they can
Mhm.
actually pour into me, from a Billy Cross's dad to, Coach Butler to, Frank Lazinski, to all these. I could go on and on. Coach Cunningham.
Coach
I
Holmes.
mean, you're putting people
Yes.
into situations where they don't know how important they are to young children that look like us, act like us, and talk like us. But there's a guy by the name of Coach Pascal. Joe Pascal let me drive his car to the University of Illinois to do a trip. And that's the only reason why I'm there. The only reason, because during class, I drove his Saab from Danville, Illinois to the University of Illinois and took a trip. It was crazy. I don't even know. Like, would you let a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid drive your car during school hours? So these are the types of men that we actually have been around, and really they poured into us. So I've been a great men that have poured into me. Now I can not necessarily just be the Google dad, because I think that you always have to look and find best practices, but also lean on stuff that I got from other people. So, hey,
And that
that's
was
it for us, man. You got any other last words before we go? Because I mean, this is episode 2 of season 2. I'm just saying we're doing some great
woo!
things,
Yes.
man.
So, and yep, I definitely want to give kudos out to all the men that my mom put in my life as well, and Leo, Coach Holmes, all those guys. Appreciate you for what you've done. And if you a man out there, be a role model to somebody else's son that may not have a dad in the house. University of Man, follow, like, subscribe. We love y'all.
Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get ready to rumble.